Hey, how's it going, guys? Sinister Skater here, and welcome to the second episode of Best to Worst for Call of Duty Black Ops 4, where we'll be covering the tactical rifles per request on the last Assault Rifles episode. If you guys are unfamiliar with the Best to Worst series, it's one of my more popular ones, where after I get Diamond Camo on a weapon class and spend tons of time with each of the weapons, we go in and rank each of those weapons from best to worst in hopes that if you haven't used some of the weapons or you don't have Black Ops 4 yet, once you hop into Black Ops 4, you'll know what's top tier and wreck people straight off the bat. But it's a pretty fun series to do. People love making their own lists and comparing them in the comments, and you're always encouraged to leave your own best to worst list in the comments down below. Modify mine, bash mine, comment the best gun, whatever. And last thing before we get into the list, this year for rankings, we are considering my experience with the raw weapon and some of the try-hard classes as usual, but I also am factoring in attachments and operator mods as they're unique to each weapon in this game and can make or break some weapons, unlike previous Call of Duties where, you know, everything had an even playing ground. So with that said, again, be sure to comment your own best to worst list down below, but let's get started with the best tactical rifle, in my opinion, which is the Auger DMR. Now, I can't tell you how much I love this thing. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game right now. It's a night and day difference between my performance with the Auger and the other tactical rifles for many reasons. So the Auger is a semi-auto, like a medium rate of fire tactical rifle that on its own is pretty decent and easy to use, but with the right attachments, it drops people like crazy and competes for some of the best time to kills in the game. It's usually a 3 to 4 shot kill without attachments. It's like an okay time to kill, but with the right attachments, it's capable of 2-shotting and has a very competitive time to kill. And then when you throw the operator mod on top of that, I think it has the capability of being one of the fastest time to kill weapons in the game, other than like the one-shot snipers and shotguns. It gets that good. The Auger has 20 in the magazine, which is a potential for 6 to 10 kills depending on what setup you're using. The iron sights are awesome for every tactical rifle. Actually, the iron sights are awesome. They have like this own like dot reticle, which is very, very nice. It makes for no need for an additional optic unless you really want some like zoom optics to use at long ranges. But the key to the Auger is that it virtually has no idle sway and no recoil. There's a lot of visual bounce when you're spamming the Auger, but if you spray as fast as you can at walls when you're aimed on sights, the spray pattern almost looks like the ICR with grip 2. It's crazy. You can spray at the max fire rate and it is pinpoint accurate. One of the highlights of the Auger is this weapon's versatility at all ranges. You can hit people across the map pretty easy. You can spray people down at mid-range at max fire rate, and in close quarters combat you can even like hit fire and do pretty well with it. In practice, I found that hit firing is pretty reliable, and I find myself being able to be very aggressive with the Auger, just like I can with an assault rifle or an SMG, whereas I have to play a bit more conservative with the other burst tactical rifles. The attachment selection for the Auger, you can choose from either high caliber 2 or FMJ or laser sight fast mags or its operator mod double tap. FMJ is great for bypassing armor, of course. High caliber 2 grants 2 shots with the Auger, and that's when you really get to drop people. The gun's pretty average without it, but it's beast with high caliber 2. Whenever I use the Auger like this, I'm getting colored diamond every single time, every life. And the op mod turns the weapon into a 2-burst tactical rifle. It can be comboed with high caliber 2 as well for a potentially crazy time to kill. It's almost like a sniper rifle almost. In close quarters combat, it deletes people with the operator mod in high caliber because it's so easy to hit the shots. But at range, it's a bit harder to use and it's hard to hit both shots to get that quick 2-burst kill. If you don't 1-burst, you're going to have a slower time to kill because the operator mod adds a burst delay to the weapon, but it has a potential to be crazy. In my opinion, the operator mod slows down my gameplay a little bit because you have to be more reserved and make sure you hit all your shots. But high caliber 2 alone just makes the Auger a beast. I've talked about it for about half this episode because I love it so much. I just want to like support this weapon as much as possible when people try to bash for it, because the Auger is absolutely amazing. At number 2, second best we have is the Swordfish. Now, the Swordfish is a 4-burst rifle that has some give and takes when compared to its counterpart, the ABR, which, spoilers, is the worst weapon on this list. And I'm most likely going to be drawing comparisons between the two for the remainder of this video. But the Swordfish's operator mod and the option of having high caliber makes it so much better, putting it at the second best spot. The Swordfish has a mag of 36, which grants you 9 bursts out of the mag, and without attachments, it takes either 5 to 6 shots to kill, which is 1 to 2 bursts, or if you have high caliber on and one of those shots is a headshot, the Swordfish can kill in 1 burst, which cuts its base time to kill in half. Compared to the ABR, it has the same fire rate, but it has a slightly longer burst delay and a much slower reload of 2 seconds, making the weapon feel much slower compared to the ABR. But the Swordfish has no idle sway and almost no recoil. The bullet spread is very tight when you're aimed down sights, not to mention the iron sight optic is very nice, and that makes the weapon very, very reliable and easy to hit all of your shots. I found myself getting much more consistent 2 burst kills with the Swordfish over the ABR because I can hit all my shots all the time. And the low recoil makes the gun very, very usable at long range. As for attachments, you can choose from Quick Draw 2 for super snappy aiming. It has FMJ to burst through the armor. It has high caliber as mentioned. Also has hybrid mags and suppressor for you to mix and match either of those attachments. And as mentioned, its operator mod called Pentaburst makes this thing pretty beast. Pentaburst gives the Swordfish a 5-round burst rather than a 4-round burst, granting you the potential to 1-burst people, even 1-burst through armor. Pentaburst cuts the time to kill in almost half, like a 0.27 second time to kill, which is really, really fast. And Penta is the way that I really like to use it, and many people like to use it, and I'd recommend use it that way. But it makes the Swordfish really, really good and puts it above the ABR in my opinion. Which, speaking of which, the ABR is number 3 on this list. It's the worst tactical rifle. And the reason it's the worst on my list is because it's super inconsistent. The ABR is a 3-round burst, has 36 in the mag, which gives you 12 bursts. It takes 5 to 6 shots to kill, which is a minimum of 2 bursts. It has less burst delay than the Swordfish, which puts it right in between the Swordfish, and its Pentaburst time to kill is at 0.38 seconds if you hit all the bursts in both shots, but it gives the ABR a really competitive time to kill when you compare it to other weapons. You know, it has good iron sights, low idle sway, but the recoil is a bit of a problem on the ABR for me. The 3rd shot in the burst always kicks up and goes to the right and makes it harder to use the ABR at range. The ABR absolutely shreds at close quarters and is really, really decent at mid-range because it's easier to hit all those shots, but I wouldn't recommend you use it at long ranges at all. And even though it can 2-shot at the mid-ranges, I found myself getting a lot of 3-burst kills much more often because the 3rd bullet likes to dance around my target. When the Swordfish, I can hit all my bursts pretty easily. As for attachments, you can choose from Quick Draw, Extended Mag, Stock, Laser, Grip attachment. There's nothing spectacular for the ABR, which kind of gives it that KN57 syndrome we mentioned in the first episode of Best to Worst. But I think grip is a must. It pulls that 3rd bullet in and makes the gun much more consistent. The operator mod for the ABR is called Repeater, and it's pretty nice. I think I'd recommend that and grip for class setups for the ABR to maximize its potential. But the Repeater turns the ABR into a full auto burst tactical rifle, and after each burst, the burst delay gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So you can hold down that trigger through an entire mag and be shooting almost at full auto near the end. But 2 things with this. I don't find the Repeater super useful in 1v1s because the effect doesn't really kick in quick enough. While when there's 2+ targets, it definitely feels like it makes a difference in gunfights. But the second thing is being able to hold the trigger down for me makes the ABR a little bit easier to use, a little bit easier to aim with, makes the weapon much more reliable. I think it's because there's less calculations you have to make, less actions you have to do. You may end up wasting ammo more when you're holding the trigger down like this, but you're already needing 3 bursts usually to kill people anyway, so I think that using the Repeater mod is justified in kind of holding down the trigger and using that playstyle when you're using the ABR. But I don't know, I'm not a fan of the ABR. It's not as reliable as the Swordfish, just doesn't feel as good, and the Auger and the Swordfish both have configurations with the attachments and the operator mods that make their time to kills absolutely insane, and make them better than the ABR, which is why it is at worst on my list. So that'll be a wrap for episode number 2 of Best to Worst. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree with my Best to Worst list? Do you disagree? Leave your own list down below if you guys disagree, or leave your best tactical rifle down below in the comments. I always look forward to seeing what you guys have to say down below. But that'll be it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. My name's Diamond Skater. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like on the video, subscribe for future gaming, Call of Duty content, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Links are down below in the description for 10% off Control Freaks, as well as Into the AM apparel. And you'll also find other goodies down below, like my Amazon Associates links to all the gear I use to record and produce videos, and other fun things like that. But again, thanks for watching. My name's Diamond Skater. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.